Welcome back to ATL Day Ones. I am Tenitra Batiste. That is my guy, Jarvis Davis. And we appreciate you guys for coming back and joining us for a little Hawks talk because look, Jarvis, for the next 24, 36, 48 hours, people are
Yes.
watching with bated breath on what's going on here in Atlanta. So, interestingly enough, it was a quiet day about 5 days ago at the NBA draft for the Hawks, but the Hawks have literally been on the tongues of everybody who is
Everybody.
anybody talking NBA. Everybody is that. You're talking NBA, you're talking NBA free agency, then you are talking Hawks. And not just the Hawks, but a few names that have been in each and every conversation, including just about every trade rumor, Danilo Gallinari. Now, if you look at him from the perspective of the salary piece, if you will, he's entering the final year of his contract. It's only guaranteed to earn $5 million of that $21.45 million salary, right? Now, if the
Mhm.
Spurs desire to acquire that contract, assuming that that's the main trade partner with the Hawks for, of course, Dejounte Murray, and the Spurs intend to then waive his partially guaranteed salary to maximize their salary cap space, okay, they have until June 29th to do so, tomorrow. So literally the stakes are getting higher and higher in terms of what will happen. But here's an interesting development, if you will, that most of us kind of raised an eyebrow on yesterday when WSB sports director Zach Klein tweeted out that basically Gallo was going to be a part of this package potentially. That's what his league sources were telling him, that the Hawks would get DeJounte Murray. Danilo Gallinari is who would be traded, and the Hawks would also give up a couple of first round draft picks, if you will. But that deal would not include John Collins. Now, on the flip side, a word from Chris Kirschner of The Athletic was that his sources were telling him inside of the John Collins camp that John Collins was gone, right? So,
Mhm.
my question to you is this, Jarvis. We know about Gallo and what he is and is not salary wise for the Hawks and what he is and is not on the court in terms of inconsistency. But the John Collins piece is what I want to ask you about. If John Collins stays, what does that mean to and for John Collins and the Hawks? Or if you're in that other camp and you believe he's gone, what does that mean for the Hawks and JC if he is no longer a Hawk come
You know
next season?
what? To be honest with you, I think John Collins is gone because I think you've reached the point of no return. Not necessarily that John is disgruntled or he's a
Right.
malcontent, but I just think from a standards and being wanted, and I think I just get the vibe from JC that he's that type of guy, right? He wants,
Mm-hmm.
not only do he wants you to pay him, he
Right.
wants you to, hey man, you're our guy. He
Sure.
wants to hear that. And when you hear all these rumors floating around all over all over the NBA, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's saying that you're not gonna be around and all that stuff. That stuff starts to get to you. And I don't think that, a lot of players won't never admit that, but
Mm-hmm.
and you know who also hears that? His agent.
Yes.
So, like, hey, okay, I can find out these rumors are true. I can find
Mm-hmm.
out. I can talk to some of my people. These guys have relationships. They understand what's going on around the league, and a lot of times, some of these agents can facilitate some of these
Yeah.
trades and
Oh,
like
yeah.
and put them in a position where they can go where they want to,
Mm-hmm.
and get the right deal. Because the Hawks obviously are trying to get to a space where they want to be contenders in the East, and in order for them to do that, they have to make a deal. They have to make a move, and John Collins is probably their biggest asset. When he's
Yeah.
not on a max contract, so
Mm-hmm.
it's movable. But
Right.
I think that overall, though, you're in a space now where this is you at the point of no return,
Sure.
and you have to use that piece. If you're able to get the Dejounte Murray without trading JC, you
Mm-hmm.
have to figure out a way to get somebody in here that can be another piece,
Yeah.
another superstar, or another guy that's a two-way guy that can help your defense and
Mm-hmm.
also be able to create on offense. And I think that the Hawks are in a really good space if they're able to do that.
Yeah, and I have thoughts on that as well in terms of what that would look like if he stays or if he goes. But first things first, Jarvis, I know you have some thoughts on some of the lines out there that we hear about betting on. Will JC stay or will he go? And where can our audience go to find out more information about all things sports betting?
they need to go to betonline.net because it is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports information. Y'all, don't y'all understand? The Braves and the Phillies are playing tonight. Go out there and make a bet. Go get some of this easy money. You know what the line is for the total runs?
Mhm.
7.5. You know the Braves. You know how they get down when they're going up against the Phillies. They like to put some runs on the board. Or you might want to go to under because you know who's not playing right now? Bryce Harper. So that's one of their big boppers. So bet
Mhm.
the under. Go get some of this money. You don't understand. Y'all got to go to
Yeah.
betonline.net. And you know, you can find all of the latest sports developments, league reviews, and
Mhm.
news, including this year's NHL playoffs. And the Colorado Avalanche are the champions. So hey, you missed out on that. You missed that boat, but you can. It's
Right.
all they got. All the Major League Baseball that you want. And, you know, betonline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts,
Mhm.
and news this season. Make sure y'all go check out BetOnline. Head to the website today, or you can use your mobile device to learn about the trends and the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
And speaking of using your mobile devices to keep up with the trends, Jarvis and I are always online, literally looking at our notifications, making sure that we are
Who's about
following
to
the
be
stock
traded?
of the right, exactly. 2022 free agents and
Where's
trends.
John going?
Right. So we are on it just like you guys, watching with bated breath to see what the Hawks are going to do. And now with this interesting or intriguing different take on it from Zach Klein versus maybe some of the reports we've heard from Chris Kirschner and some of the others who are some insiders for the Hawks, if you will, and then some who just have conjecture out there. But there's that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
it's
about
there.
what will the Hawks do in this next potentially 36 hours now that we're reminded that Danilo Gallinari is back in the mix. We talked about this Monday. There are some names that you keep hearing, and Gallo, his name was that name initially, and then that kind of trailed off, and now he's back in that conversation
Heating up
again, and
again. Yep.
understandably so, because this might be, as you mentioned, the easiest contract to move. So if it is, and that contract's accepted, whether that's a straightaway and a release, a sign and trade, whatever, the NBA gets complicated when it comes to these types of deals. The bottom line is, if it means that John Collins will be retained, then what does that mean for the Hawks overall? So I think you make a great point in that the NBA is a little different because we
Mm-hmm.
know that a lot of times it's a player out there recruiting his friend or out there making sure that his friend stays on the team. I've even seen a report recently that reminded me Trae Young and Clint Capella get along quite well.
Yeah.
And I remember saying even yesterday and even Sunday on Sports Extra on 11 Live, our sister station to the podcast network, that good luck getting a big, good luck getting another big. And I think in part
Man.
we forget that a lot of this is still predicated on not just money but fit. And
Yes.
so to your point, if he stays and it becomes a fit, how does Nate McMillan do some wizardry to make sure that John Collins is incorporated in the way that he wants to in this offense so that he can be effective? Because real talk, this is now the second year that JC has had to deal with these kinds of rumors. And I
Yeah.
can only imagine that kind of weighs on you. And so
Of
if he
course.
is retained, that's one piece. And then the other piece is this: if he's retained past this first trade, Dejounte Murray, Gallo's gone, a couple picks are gone. You still got John Collins. That's also a chip, a potential bargaining chip for the Hawks. Should they want to go after another big, or should they want to go after somebody who can defend on the wing? So I think once again, this just puts the Hawks in a good situation. I'm actually excited for them because I feel like this might be the first time two things. Number one, that there's a guy out there that seems like he actually makes the most sense in Dejounte Murray, who's actually available. And number two, it seems like the Hawks have put themselves in position to be able to negotiate and leverage by some of the assets that they have and some of the abilities to move contracts like a Danilo Gallinari. But when we come back, it's for the culture, and we're going to talk about some
Yeah.
interesting moving parts and mouthpieces and how, boy, when certain people get to talking, man, I tell you, it's like appointment listening. And we're also going to talk about something exciting that is just 60 days away. So come back on the other side. Jarvis and I will tell you all about it in For the Culture right here on ATL Day Ones.